Today on Gizmo Trains, we check out the Lionel 442 Atlantic in the Train Loft's exclusive Atlantic coastline paint scheme, the Osceola. Welcome back to the channel. It's been about 9 months now since I've done a video, and if you may or may not have noticed, a little bit of a different background than before. Quite a bit about that, and I will cover it in another video coming up. But today's video, the focus is this sweet new model from the Train Loft, exclusive run in my most favorite railroad of all time, the Atlantic coastline. I love the purple and silver theme on these. I don't know what it is. It's something about that color. Also the fact that it passed through North Carolina. As a kid, I visited Wilmington a lot, and the museum was there, and just something about the history of it and the coast and running up and down, I just fell in love with it. This here is the 442 Atlantic, most commonly known for the Hiawatha paint scheme. And Jeff, of course, at the Train Loft has always been big about doing custom runs, which is one of the most important things I think for this hobby. I've always been a big advocate for it, and it just keeps things fresh. Obviously, Lionel does a lot of fantasy schemes, but Jeff does many that are focused more around the southern region, which of course is where I live. So him taking the risk and doing one in this paint scheme, I am very grateful for, and I hope that it continues in the future. So let's check this out. We'll do a quick unboxing, and we'll get into a little more of the close-ups of this bad boy. Since it's been a little bit since I've done a video, I figured I would unbox this one. I know sometimes people seem to have a little bit of a differing opinion on unboxings. Let me know in the comments if you guys feel like it's value added. Sometimes Lionel mixes things up with packaging, similar to when they did the Strasbourg, and I had a video on that. But in this case, I figured why not? So here we have the Train Loft Custom Atlantic Coastline Legacy Hiawatha Atlantic number 500. This is going to be Lionel's number 2431910, just for reference, even though you're not going to find it anywhere but the Train Loft. At least this time they got this right. When we did the big boy video on Jeff's custom Rio Grande, it had his distributor's name in front. It was a little bit weird, but at least this time they did get it right. Nothing special on the knife, just a knife. Whatever you can use to get it open. There's been quite a bit of shorts and videos I've seen of people getting creative, so teach their own. Just get the box open, who cares about the knife. There's that orange box goodness. Lionel celebrating their 125th anniversary this year. It's pretty cool. Their catalog should be releasing fairly soon. They have been since a nice even 1900, doing all kinds of goodness. Oh yeah, let's show this side as well. Same stuff as before, but we have Legacy, of course, the rail sounds, whistle steam. And that's actually a lie. It's not whistle steam, but blow off. We'll see that later. Fan driven smoke. And this one takes a 0.54 minimum curve. One thing I was a little bit surprised on is they didn't do the pop off steam. I kind of figured they would have been able to fit that in there. There's the instructions. Oh my, almost dropped that one. Legacy 442 A class steam locomotive. Wow. Yeah, nothing too fancy here on the box. Of course, we have our traction tires. Looks like it give you a KD coupler adapter mount. We have a scale coupler for the front and some other various pieces. Oh, there's also a dummy coupler. So I guess that can be mounted on the front as well. A few other odds and ends. Of course, the dropper for the smoke fluid. That's the tool for the wheels. Oh, she is hefty. The cool thing about this one too is it's all metal construction. The body is die cast. And there she is. And that beautiful purple silver Atlantic coastline paint scheme. Bit of a gloss finish on this one. It's not the typical matte that you will see on a lot of the Atlantic coastline models, so be curious to see how that looks with the passenger cars. I have some Southerns that are the steel side and also have some typical purple Atlantic coastline, so we'll see how they look matched up. Also notice that Lionel did sort of this wax paper on this one to help protect the finish. Typically you'll just see the plastic, I think, so maybe a little bit of an upgrade on some of their packaging. Tender looks great. Not a lot of special details anywhere on it. This was a oil-fed engine, so pretty streamlined on this. So hopefully the unboxing didn't bore you too much, but the Osceola was Jeff's fantasy of another what if. And so the one cool thing about Jeff and when he does these custom runs is he always does sort of a little story about what if, right? I mean, these models are what if models. Obviously, Atlantic Coastline never had a 442 Atlantic, but in the legend goes in this fantasy is the passengers when Atlantic Coastline would go down to Florida, they had always passed the Indian reservation for the Seminoles, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But the tourists wanted to get off the train and check it out, but the chief there in the Indian reservation said, no way, you're not disrupting our way of life. And in a means for the chief to maybe allow those guests and sort of the scheme of the Atlantic Coastline, the president at the time said, let's put his name on the side of an engine. And if it flies by and sees this, he'll feel like, yes, he's a part of our group. And so the Osceola was born. And of course, none of that really happened, but it's a cool little thing to sort of make it feel more real life. So I think that's pretty cool. Gives you a little back story on why for the nameplate it was named what it was. Let's check it out a little close up, more close up rather, and we'll also get some power to this. And as you can see, I have a very massive layout here to run this. Just kidding. Again, that'll be covered in a future video of what the plans are. But for now, we'll have a short track we'll at least get it forward and backwards. Unfortunately, I don't have any curves right now. This model requires an 054, and my plans for the new layout will not have any of that. And yes, I could have got some and got it here, but there's been a lot going on and I kind of forgot. So either way, we'll be able to see this in action a little bit running Bluetooth, although I do have a base 3 in the closet. We'll also put some steel-sided Southern cars as well, another Train Loft exclusive. I think Jeff still has a few sets of those in the MTH Premier, I'm sorry, scratch that, wrong, Atlas O Premier. Which is probably some ex-MTH tooling anyway, so maybe I wasn't all wrong. But also have some true MTH passenger cars in the Atlantic Coastline purple and silver scheme, and we'll put those behind to kind of see what looks good. Jeff is doing a custom run of some Atlantic Coastline steel-sided cars with the black roofs. I believe they're scheduled to be here around March-ish. Those will be, I think he said 18-inch cars. So at least with the Southerns, you'll kind of be able to see what that scheme will look like with this color, as well have the Atlantic Coastline. So it gives you a little bit of an option of what you may want to pull behind this. You can pull anything behind it. Pull Santa Claus, who cares? It's a beautiful model. Love the gloss finish. Okay, we'll start quickly here in the front. Right down here, it looks to be a little door, and in a way it is. However, it does not swing open. It's actually a screw on the bottom that holds this in. So you can put a dummy coupler. Here we have our little access doors for the Hiawatha, and it makes me nervous opening these because you have just that little rail there with the plastic, but it's not too latched in. But it seems like they did more of a friction fit. I don't really feel any magnets under there. So there's like a piece of plastic like right here that's kind of the friction fit. So just be easy. Don't go yanking on them because I don't know if I trust it forever. But when you open up here, of course, true to the real life model, you have access to the boiler front. Looks like we have some detail here, maybe a dynamo or steam pump or something of that nature, but pretty interesting they put that here, being as you're normally never going to see it. But another cool thing that I think that they added here is the fact that the boiler door actually does open as well, which, funny enough, it looks like they put a magnet there, but not the doors. I don't know. Lionel does things weird sometimes. But you notice you can't open it all the way. Well, that's because Jeff did add the Mars light here. So models without it, this would likely swing all the way open. But, you know, kind of cool if you had this sitting on a side track, I guess. You could have it open like someone's servicing it, but otherwise, it doesn't really matter. These will just snap right back in, nice and neat. And of course, we also have our headlight, smokestack. We have our marker lights on the side. You have that wonderful Atlantic coastline logo, nice and crisp. Looking at the side again, we have the Dixie Flyer, nice and crisp. We have the builder's plate. Those great white wall wheels. I think that adds a nice little splash to the bottom of the model, since when you're looking at it straight on, you really only see like half the wheels. Gives you a little bit of a focus point. We also have some safety striping here that Jeff had them add. So that's also in white, follows along with the wheels. So that's a nice touch. The one thing I noticed about the Osceola is in the catalog, it almost seemed like it was going to be embossed. However, it's not. This is just the detail work here, but it's just printed. There's no embossing for that symbol. And I'm assuming they did that to keep it more streamlined, because I believe some models they didn't have this type of Hiawatha themed logo, so that makes sense. Back here we have our engine number 500, our pop-off valves. We do have an opening door here. So you may or may not be able to see it, but if you look real close, you can see they actually did paint the gauge faces. So you can see a white face there and a little bit of a black needle. So although the cab is an all-weather cab and blocked off right here in the back, they did put a little bit of detail work in the cab. So the tender, not a lot of detail here, nothing super crazy special to mention, but we do have our identification lights. We have a nice steel step ladder here. These were oil-fed engines, so basically the water oil was all shared in this tender. So this is a very basic, very streamlined tender. We do have beautiful Atlantic coastline and this big logo for Atlantic coastline. I'm glad Jeff did it very large here at the end. It really is prominent, it really stands out. And again, very nice crisp lines around that, and it's very, very crisp on that logo. So Lionel did a fantastic job on it. We do have a 3-truck tender up front, 2-truck in the back. And these doors here do open. There's nothing underneath them. But the other hatch here surprisingly doesn't. So not really sure why they made these two, other than what I'm going to assume is the older models likely had some switches in here for controlling the sound and whatever other, you know, smoke and this and that. So those, of course, now have all been relocated, or underneath the engine rather, and so these are just leftovers. But either way, they do open. And nice little metal walkway. There's some good detailing in here, this sort of mesh. You can actually see the shadows down there, so that is nice. We do have an operating coupler in the back, electro coupler, so you can use that on the controller. Otherwise, the only other thing to note is a little bit of writing, and I'll just quickly move the camera here. And we got a 13,000 gallon water and a 4,000 gallon oil. And I don't know what the rest of that crap says. Dulux. I guess that's the date, 5/21/36. And whatever that is saying on the bottom, you guys can tell me. No idea. I'll have to Google that. No clue. So for now, since I don't have a base 3 hooked up, we'll be running this off of the Lion Chief app. So going to be limited on some features, but it'll at least give you an idea. There's a pop-off steam. Oh, maybe it does have that. So, looks like I was wrong. It does have pop-off, but maybe not whistle steam. We'll try the whistle steam shortly to see. So you can check out the Mars light there, flashing on and off. So I thought it was at the bottom, so it's actually at the top on this. So my mistake there. With our horn. There's the bell. A little bit of crew talk.
Dispatcher, my engine's ready. Can I pull? Over. Take the green. Out.
All right, let's get it moving here a little bit. And for right now, I have a couple of Atlantic Coastline cars on the back, so I'll give you an idea of what those will look like with the paint scheme. All right, next up we'll take a look at some of the aluminum steel-sided cars with this, and these will be more close to what Jeff's custom runs will be, except it will of course have the Atlantic Coastline signature on the side on the nameplate versus Southern, but they will still be the silver and the black roofs. The only other difference is these will be 21 inch, his I believe are 18.
Dispatcher, am I clear to move? Over. You're cleared outbound. Dispatcher out.
Well, everyone, that's it for this video. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you're new here, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and turn on notifications. I plan to start to do some more videos over the coming months now that I'm getting settled here. So more to come for sure. And of course, if you're interested in getting one of these sweet Atlantic Coastline Osceola Hiawathas, give Jeff a call at the Train Loft. You can get him at his website as well. He's always posting up his latest custom runs at www.trainloft.com, or give him a call at the number below. And as always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.